What the This is the Nerf Modulus Stockshot. Gets that name because it doubles as a blaster and a stock. So if you have that prime, you pull it off the blaster. It's a last-ditch shot. It works identical to a jolt. And it's similar to the long shot front gun, which is fairly old at this point. Not just because it's an attachment that doubles as a blaster, but they also suck. This isn't even that old and gets about end strike range. When I opened it up though, it looked quite moddable, so I'm going to be doing that today and hopefully at least doubling the performance. After taking out some screws, you'll see something that looks familiar. Much like a jolt, except it has all this dead space right here, and the trigger is not connected to it, so unfortunately you can't just use this stupid looking jolt by itself. But you take out some screws here. There's 2 screws. Looks like they didn't bother to put in the other 2. And if I take this out, you'll see this plunger head is screwed on. And this is amazing because now it's also padded, which is great. It has that rubber padding. If I take this off, ooh, yeah, it even has a plastic washer with a washer screw on it. So this is quite sturdy for what it is. And that spring sucks. So I'm going to put in this spring from an Adventure Force Double Fire. And taking out the air restrictor if I can. This looks like it's going to be... Oh, wow, there's an air release hole in there too. So I think I'm just going to drill through there and then plug this up when I'm done. I have finished this part. I used some different air restrictor and I just glued it in there and then filled that with hot glue so it has good air seal. And I actually ended up taking this spring out and stretching the stock spring. Normally you shouldn't stretch springs unless they have enough coils, which this one was fairly dense. It had a lot of coils, so it's more likely to keep the stretch you give it, which is why I did that. And that way, anyone who has one of these doesn't have to go searching for a spring replacement. They can just stretch the one that's in there. So there you go. I hope that made that easier for you. I found a fix for this really bad catch mechanism. As I just glued a little piece of craft foam right there to create enough pressure to get this to catch. And it does. So I'm gonna just put this all the way back together and give it a chronograph test. It went from mid-40s to low 90s. So I did, in fact, more than double its performance. And that's still using the stock spring. Sometimes it's just about making the system as efficient as it can be. This has got a clear shot straight down that barrel. I used a 1/2-inch drill bit for that. So this is super efficient. Didn't even mess with the seal. It still had its original lubricant in there. Not being that old, I would expect it to have that. Yeah, and it sounds scary. It really does. Yeah, that's loud. It's like an elite dart. Now you've got a really good stock shot if you did this mod. If you're just looking for something stupid to do and you find one of these for $2 like I did, I mean, go ahead, try it. It's not that hard.